All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Marketing Spotlight podcast. I'm joined today by our good friend, Joel Beeker. Hey, Joel, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Jake. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. We're glad to have you. And so, like we do every week, we always turn it over to our guests to do a quick intro of themselves. And so, Joel, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so as Jake said, my name is Joel Beeker. I am currently in a marketing role, so I'm at Dandelion Energy. My title is Senior Digital Marketing Associate, so I handle kind of all the digital marketing there. I graduated from Michigan State in 2020. Great time to graduate, being totally sarcastic with the pandemic and everything. So it was definitely a very hard time, interesting time to graduate, but I learned a lot and I gained a lot of experience to kind of get me where I'm at today.
So Joel, take us to that graduation day or launching your career from Michigan State in 2020. Did you know what you were going to do, and sort of how did you land up at Dandelion?
Yeah, it was definitely a long road, but I would say graduating, I kind of knew a part of marketing I wanted to go to, and that was digital marketing. I took one class in, I think, my senior year that I really enjoyed. It was a digital marketing focused class, and I actually had interned my senior year at a local, it was in Lansing. They were called M Connections. And I interned there as a digital marketing strategist and really exposed me to the world. And it was something I knew that I wanted to go into that industry. So fast forward to almost graduating, and I think about a week or two right before graduation was kind of when we got the call saying we're going online. I mean, all my final exams are online, and I think the biggest thing that really impacted was no one was really hiring, right? It was pandemic. If anything, businesses were shutting down and laying off people, let alone hiring people. So it was a very interesting time, to say the least, to graduate. So I really just kind of hung in there. I had a few other side jobs that kind of got me through those hard months, but I luckily stuck with it, interviewed probably to hundreds of places, and eventually found a place local in East Lansing. So after M Connections, I graduated, and a few months after, I landed at Bloom Creative Partners. They're on, I want to say, like Hagedorn and Grand River, which I just saw actually. They recently got acquired by a marketing agency in Detroit, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of a little, I guess, just how I got
Well,
started.
right as soon as you're graduating, you're having to market yourself with all these marketing skills. So tell our listeners, as you were going through that process and you had to market yourself and you're trying to figure out, where to go to next, like what worked for you and sort of maybe what didn't work as well as maybe you thought in that search process.
One big thing to have is being adaptable and kind of going with the flow, right? If a job comes up that maybe you don't necessarily like, but it's going to be a stepping stone to the next place, it's going to give you the experience, it's going to open a door to another door. Being adaptable and not being so stuck to, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this, I'm only going to do this. It really opens you up, and you got to look long term, right? It's like, all right, I'm going to get here, and then what am I going to do after that? And that was kind of the mindset I had. Like, I was applying for jobs that maybe weren't in the digital marketing realm, but I knew that it would at least give me that stepping stone to get experience to kind of go on to that next step. So I definitely say being adaptable. I would also say not letting the defeat get to you. So all these, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with this that have tried applying for jobs. The amount of jobs I've applied for and the amount that I've not heard back or got rejected, it's okay. It happens, and you kind of have to move forward. And that dream job that got rejected from, it's okay. It wasn't meant for you. It's time to focus on something else. Bringing back to that adapting.
Yeah, Spartans will, right? You had mentioned that, you always had thought about this career in digital marketing. Tell us a little bit about what got you interested in that. And digital marketing is so vast, right? So there are particular parts that were of interest to you, and how did you become interested in this field?
Yeah, I would say really a lot of my classes kind of exposed me to so many different facets of marketing, right? There's the market research, the sales. I think digital was such a small part of my curriculum at State. I think there was only one digital class. I don't know if there's more now, So I actually got exposed again, as I mentioned, at that internship, which was so crucial to actually get involved in a real world experience and see what it was like. And what I saw from my point of view was digital's been around for a while, but it's like that's where I saw marketing going, right? Everyone has to be online, specifically during COVID and the pandemic. Everyone was almost forced to go online. So I saw the role that digital played in the industry, and I knew that was something that I wanted to go into. So I saw the opportunity, but it was also something that I enjoyed. I really enjoyed kind of the tech side of things. I think one class in particular that was required at MSU was CSE. I know a lot of people complained about computer science class and it being hard, and I actually really enjoyed it. And maybe that was a sign, in hindsight, that I really did like more of the tech side of things. And that's kind of the route I took, is more of like paid media management and really getting into ad managers and even doing website development. So really just kind of exposing myself in classes and in real world experience and kind of finding out that, you know, area that you want to pursue.
Yeah, Joel, I think you hit on something that's certainly indicative of where marketing has evolved to. There is so much science now to what we do, and the tech and technology, working with internal business partners that are in technology, have become so important for marketers today. Can you help us understand a little bit about sort of maybe your interactions on a day-to-day basis with technology partners, and sort of what kinds of things are you leaning into today?
I mean, you're totally right. The data that we have available now is more so than I think we've ever had, right? And now with AI coming out, like, I mean, that's probably going to play even a bigger role into how we target. And the company I'm at now, which I guess I kind of, backing up, I kind of missed a few steps. But after landing at Bloom in East Lansing, I stayed there for a few years, got a few years experience, moved to New York, and I was at an agency there, and then stayed there for a couple of years, got some more experience, and now I'm at Dandelion. And now, at being at Dandelion, we are a huge data backed company. We make all our decisions based on data, and it's something that's crucial because it has, instead of feelings or opinions, it's something that's, hey, we see these trends, we should make decisions based on these trends because it's there. And specifically in marketing, I mean, we work a lot in the programmatic space when it comes to ad placements, and it's kind of creepy in a way, right? I think a lot of people joke about, hey, I said something and I got an ad for it. You're not far off, honestly. Like, some of the data that's available now is pretty crazy. So I mentioned, we work a lot with like programmatic placements, and we can nail it down to fencing households. So say, for example, so Dandelion, we install geothermal in homes. So our prime, demographic are homeowners, and specifically with this company and our ad placements, we can zero in on homes in America that are certain income levels. They're single family homes. They, have ductwork in their homes. Basically, what people are doing is there's so many companies out there, and they're, accumulating all this data and then utilizing it to be able to serve ads so specific, so contextualized to a user, that it's an ad that you're going to want to see. A lot of people talk about privacy and saying, oh, I'm going to opt out of ads. I'm the complete opposite, because you're going to see ads regardless. I would rather see ads that are tailored to me. And that's what they're doing. They're collecting data, figuring out the best ad to serve to you.
I mean, it's incredible. And you mentioned AI too.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on machine learning and artificial intelligence, as we think about how much that's now being talked about in the trades? And has it come up in your day-to-day work experience yet? And if so, how?
I feel like it's everywhere. It seems like that everyone's trying to develop it now. I even just saw Google, I think, it's like rolling out an AI version of their search. I view it more as a tool. And I've had this conversation a lot. A lot of people say, hey, it's going to take over our jobs, it's going to take over our careers. The way I think about it, and I've talked with colleagues about this, but I have a lot of colleagues in the graphic design space, so more of the design space. And a lot of people say it was similar to, when Photoshop came out, or all these digital illustrator programs. Everyone thought, hey, I draw all my stuff, I do it all analog, and it's like these are coming in and going to replace my job. It ended up being more so a tool to use for your job, and I think that's how AI is going to play a big role into the digital realm as well. Using it as a tool, and if you can use it efficiently, it can help you do your job better. It can help you do it more efficiently. I don't think it's going to replace it because you'll always need that input. You'll always need someone to actually be the brains behind it instead of actually it doing the other.
So as you think about just even how much the landscape has changed in the digital marketing space, even in the last 3 years, 5 years, what advice do you have for students who are graduating who are interested in this space to learn or to get experience in digital marketing?
Real world experience is the most valuable thing that I have found. I learned a lot in school was very helpful in me helping me, I think, decide what I wanted to do. But actually getting out there and getting in the trenches and collaborating in the space with other people is where I've learned a majority of my skills. And I'm really thankful for it. I mean, as I mentioned, I've worked at 3 different agencies before this, all of them kind of boutique, but I've learned so many different skills just being in those roles, so many skills I would never, even think that I wanted to learn, but I got exposed to in different ways. And that's kind of a joy in being in an agency is you get to work with a variety of different clients, you get to work with a variety of different people, designers, copywriters. You get to be exposed to it in such a different way. Not saying that in-house or one is the better option. I think it's just a matter of exploring that and getting out there and learning.
You're spot on, and a lot of, I think, Spartan marketers when they graduate end up and start work at an agency. Tell us a little bit about your experience at the agencies you worked at, and what could someone expect going into an agency right after graduation. What's that experience like?
As I mentioned, the first one I went to, Bloom Creative Partners, it was a pretty small boutique agency. So our digital team, I want to say, was like 3 people when I was hired. We had a few designers, but they had been around for 20, 25 plus years. And it obviously is going to vary what agency you go to, but they were mainly focused on traditional at the time. So digital was fairly new to them. And again, you're going to see a different dynamic probably at no matter what agency you go to. But it was really interesting being in that space at an agency that didn't know too much about it. And I think to everyone out there that's graduating or going to graduate, you have such a valuable skill set that a lot of people at these agencies don't have. And that's being young. I saw it so many times in the agencies. I think honestly, looking back, I think I've been the youngest person at maybe all 3 agencies that I've worked at. And it's worked out in my favor because you grow up in this digital space and you have a lot more knowledge and you're just surrounded by it all the time. So I would say use that to your advantage, and really lean into that.
And as you think about now, the experiences you've had and the experiences you're still, creating and generating, what keeps you engaged and motivated and excited to be in this field of, marketing and digital marketing? What keeps you going?
I would say it's helping businesses, whether that's helping the clients that I was working for. Now I'm at where I'm at Dandelion. It's a very sustainable focused company. So that is something I'm passionate about personally. So being able to mix both professionally what I do as well as my personal values has been something that I'm really happy that I've been able to find that because I know a lot of people don't. And that's something that kind of helps me fuel what I do on a day to day. But even before that, when I worked at an agency in different industries, it was helping these business owners. A lot of them didn't know digital marketing. Whether they, that's probably why they hired us, right? And the fact that I was able to help them and bring in money to them and keep their business going. The last agency I worked at, we mainly worked with jewelry companies all over the US, mainly like independent, but also some bigger ones. And historically, jewelry companies are family owned businesses, their generation, right? They have their kids working for them, their grandkids. And really seeing the impact that I make, like running a campaign, running ads for them and seeing the money that you're bringing in for them is awesome. You're helping a family, you're helping them pay their bills, you're helping them continue to operate. And that's something that always keeps me going.
We're getting to the end of our time here, but we can't let you go without doing a few rapid, quick fire questions.
All right.
So if you're ready, Joel, we'll make them easy at first, and then we'll make them a little harder in
Okay.
the end. How about that? All right. So your freshman year dorm,
Hubbard.
Hubbard Hall. Favorite East Lansing restaurant?
Oh, that's an interesting one. I'd say Crunchies
So Spartan football or Spartan basketball?
basketball.
Favorite brand that you worked on in your career?
I would say I worked a lot with the Greater Lansing Food Bank, and that was a very, I mean, I don't need the explanation, but it was a very fulfilling job, I think, that I worked on.
And lastly, brand you admire the most?
I really admire Patagonia, and I know a lot of people I think talk about that, but what they do as a company and how they approach their branding is something that I think a lot of other brands should really look towards. They carry themselves and what they do and how they're very future thinking is something that I really admire about them.
So, Joel, if our listeners are interested to learn more or to connect with you, can they do so on LinkedIn? Would that be okay with you?
Yes, of course. Definitely reach out, send me a connection, ask any questions. I'm always happy to chat.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you, Joel, for spending some time with us today. This is the Marketing Spotlight podcast. I've been Jake Leston. Thanks so much, and go green.
Go White.